everyone. I am Bethany Collins, Individual Stewardship Coordinator at the Night Ministry, and with me is Nieal, if you want to say hi.
Hi, everybody.
So Nieal Marie Ross is the Manager of Supportive Services here at the Night Ministry, and since 2017, she has been overseeing our residential services, staff training, volunteers, interns, youth leadership development, frontline work, program support, and housing stabilization for the Night Ministry's youth programs. Lots going on there.
It's a lot.
Prior to this position, over the past 15 years, Nieal Marie has held the titles of Manager of Case Management, Coordinator of Case Management, and Case Manager, where she worked directly with youth and services and oversaw all aspects of case management, both program-specific and across youth programs at the Night Ministry. She has an AM from the University of Chicago's School of Social Service Administration. So today, we're here to talk about this specific aspect of the Night Ministry's youth housing program. But first, a bit about our housing programs. We provide safe shelter to more than 450 young people experiencing homelessness or housing stability every year. Our youth supportive services offer the young people served by the Night Ministry the tools they need to thrive while in their programs and beyond their stay with us. So hello, Nieal, welcome. Thank you so much for leading this conversation today.
Thank you for having me. We, like my team, we are really excited to be able to have a forum to talk about all the great work we do. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. So to get started, the Night Ministry has 5 youth housing programs that range from overnight shelter to transitional living, which is when young people live with us for up to 2 years or even more until they're ready to transition into more permanent and stable housing, hopefully in market rate apartments. But how would you distinguish the work of youth supportive services from what our individual youth housing programs do?
So the individual youth housing programs are like our residential programs. While young people are in our care, this is their home. We don't like to look at them as like shelters or TLPs, like this is their home, this is where we live. But youth supportive services umbrellas that process. So we provide and make way for the services to enrich their residential experiences. So what we do is we, make sure that there are activities, make sure that there are, volunteers coming in, interns coming in, making sure that we have services that are available to our young people. We provide a myriad of services. We facilitate that for the young people in our programs. So we're kind of the umbrella, and what's not housing, what's supplemental and necessary, that's what we do.
Great. So we'll certainly go into a lot of those different areas in detail in a moment, but first, could you just talk a little bit about the on-call staff that you supervise and the onboarding and training that it looks like for the youth supportive services staff?
On-call, we have a team of on-call staff that is managed by Sharnika Williams. She's an awesome supervisor to her team. And on-call, they're like the silent heroes of service provision. So these people are cross-trained across all of our youth programs, and they fill in the gap. They fill in the gap when permanent staff is unable to come in. So, they show up, we call, and when we need staff, they're there for us, and they are our unsung heroes and our silent heroes. So they keep things operating and moving when there's the need. And I also wanted to add that Sharnika Williams also manages the weekends. So in addition to managing the on-call staff, she comes in on the weekends to make sure that there's a consistency in our system of care so that things are the same on the weekends as they are during the week when you got all the managers and supervisors in the program. So she makes sure that the weekends run smoothly as well. And you asked about training, onboarding?
Yeah, is there any specific training that your team specifically has?
Our team, youth supportive services, we kind of oversee training for new people coming into employment with the night ministry. So our residential services and training coordinator, Devin Redman, he falls into this area, and we do foundations training with every new hire for youth programs. And foundations training basically sets the stage and like gives information about the practice modalities that we implement at the night ministry. So it's like motivational interviewing, trauma-informed care, restorative justice, positive youth development. So when people come into the programs to work, they know what we stand for, how we practice, and what those practice modalities mean. So that's how we kind of assist with the onboarding process for new hires in youth programs.
That's great. It sounds like a lot of the work that you do is really kind of setting the culture within our youth program.
Yes, and setting the culture, and Devin likes to say, like, reading the pulse of what we do. Like we're reading the pulse of youth programs and trying to make sure that whatever is needed, we're doing it.
Great.
We're making it happen.
Cool. So why is it important to have the services that youth supportive services provide available to the young people that are served by the night ministry?
Because young people need experiences, and the young folks that we work with, they aren't in a traditional setting for people their age, or in general, they're homeless, they're experiencing homelessness, and they still need experiences. They still need to be exposed to different cultural opportunities. They still, it's like anyone. They're people, they're young adults, and they need that exposure. So it's important that we make sure that something like that is provided for them, so that they have the same opportunities that other young people who are not in their situation are able to be provided.
Great. So how do the experiences of homeless youth shape the supportive services that the night ministry offers?
Well, as I said before, like, young people need experiences. So we want to make sure that the things that other young people who are not in these situations are able to be provided with, that we're providing them for our young people. These are, they're our family. We love them. So, we want to make sure that they have access to physical health care, mental health care. We want to make sure that they have access to learning life skills, how to budget, how to sew a button on a shirt, how to, sweep, mop, to maintain a household when they eventually get housed. And we want to make sure that they're able to, say, I've been to an aquarium. I've been to an arboretum, like just the normal stuff that young people are exposed to when they're living in a traditional household. We want to make sure that our young people have those same experiences. And that's what we ensure. That's our goal.
Yeah, certainly a great goal. Certainly something that all of our young people deserve to have, is those enriching, fun, learning experiences and just common experiences to share with their peers, even though they're living in such a different situation maybe than many other youth. So let's talk about some of the specific services that come from your team. First, could you tell us a little bit about Youth for Truth?
Youth for Truth is the truth, okay? Like, we love Youth for Truth. It is a youth leadership program that's treated as an internship. So young people who participate earn money for their participation. And that's because we value their time and we value their voices. We value their opinions. So, let's pay them. So we do treat it as an internship, a paid internship. And it is an 11-week cohort, with the first week being a retreat. And in that retreat, they do team building exercises, because these young people come from all of our programs. So, they need to get to know each other. They need to be able to trust each other. So they do team building exercises. And then in that retreat, they also figure out what goals they want to accomplish during the cohort and what kind of tangible things, skills, soft skills, or hard skills they want to be able to walk away with at the end of the cohort. So while they're in the cohort, they work on issues that are important to them and have had a macro level voice in some of these issues. So, the cohort may decide that they want to talk about racial injustice, or they may decide that they want to talk about how to get a job, or they decide that they want to talk about, police brutality, or address issues of housing stabilization. So it really is it's a very unique and very like forward moving program that we offer to young people, because they are able to advocate for themselves, as well as for other young people that are experiencing homelessness and young people in general. So they've been to lobbying day in Springfield and things like that to be able to advocate and make sure that their voices are heard. So it's a very, very, very important program. And we have seen so much growth in young people who have participated in that program. And our youth development specialist, Candace Music, does a phenomenal job. And she gets help from Ted Peso, from what program is what area is Ted in? I'm not sure, but she gets
with strategic partnerships. She's kind of a policy guy.
Partnerships, yes. So she gets help from Ted Peso and Michelle Thomas from the youth outreach team. So I know that you guys heard from Marco from the youth outreach team last week. So they support Candace in Michelle and Ted support Candace in this endeavor, and they do a really, really phenomenal job. And it's something that we as an agency are so proud of, because it's important that young people are heard and that we are addressing adultism and that we are recognizing that they are the experts in their lives and in their experiences. And I mean, how do we move forward without making sure that they are at the helm of what we do? So yes, Youth for Truth is the truth.
That is awesome. Yeah, something that I know one of the cohorts did with Youth for Truth is they were actually part of rewriting the handbook used within our youth shelter programs. And so they were able to address, reshaping some of the policies of the night ministry and how intake is done, for example, making sure that the comfort and trust level of the young person when they first come into our shelter is built up first. And they were able to really shape that from their firsthand experience, saying, we've lived here and here's the things we'd like to change and here's the things we'd like to reinforce. And I think that's really cool as an organization that we give them that literal hands-on leadership of our program, knowing that, like you said, they're the experts for their experience and they actually know what it feels like to be in that position. So love that program, Youth for Truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Because how do we grow? How do we grow if the older we get, we sit on this kind of hill and look down and figure that we know what's best for young people. But how do we grow if we don't listen to them? These are their experiences. So their voice at the night ministry, the people who we serve, their voices matter. And we are not afraid to change policies to make their experience with us a robust and supportive and joyful one. We do our best.
That's great. So let's talk about mental health services for a bit. So first, why do we offer mental health services to the residents of our housing programs, and what does that look like?
So this is my soapbox. When I started at the night ministry, I started as a case manager. This was my first job out of college, and I love the agency. I've been here for 18 years, going on 19, I believe, and it's an awesome, supportive organization to work for. So, thinking about that, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Praising the night. What was the question?
We're talking about the mental health services that we have.
Okay. I got you. So when I started as a case manager, it was impossible to get mental health services, a medical card for young people that were not disabled or pregnant or parenting. So if our young men that we served were not disabled or not a custodial parent, they could not get a medical card. And if we had young women that were not pregnant or parenting or disabled, they could not get a medical card. So, that goes back to this was when I first started and how I've seen the trajectory move forward. Mental health care was our biggest challenge, to be honest. It was our biggest challenge because, people who needed it were not able to access it. So, fortunately, with the Affordable Care Act, that changed. And when that changed, that changed the world for homeless youth who needed access to healthcare. In addition, we have worked with like Rush, who comes in, and they have been a godsend to our programs. So we have therapists that come in to the program 3 days a week. Well, this is before the pandemic, but therapists that come into the program 3 days a week to meet with young people, and also a psychiatric nurse that comes in and is able to do evaluations, psychological evaluations, and prescribe. When I tell you this is such a huge difference from where we started, and like not being able to access mental health care, it was sad, it was discouraging, and honestly, it led to more young people continuing in that cycle of homelessness than was necessary, just because they didn't have that access. So Rush does a phenomenal job, and they have postdocs that come in and do therapy. They've developed a mental health assessment for us that we're able to do with the young people, so that we kind of figure out where they're at and what they need as far as their mental health, and be able to prescribe them medication and like get their medication. So that is wonderful. Now, as a result of the pandemic, this initiative has been taken to telehealth. So we haven't stopped in any way, shape, or form providing these services, but now they're doing telehealth. So young people are meeting with their therapists over the phone, and meeting with our nurse, the psychiatric nurses over the phone, and they do FaceTime. Young people love to do like FaceTime stuff. So it's working, and quite honestly, it's working a little bit better than it did face to face, because young people love technology. So
that's great.
Yeah, really excited about that, and always looking for new initiatives. But Rush has been, like I said, a godsend to us.
That's great. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to keep some of those, that telehealth, for example, maybe can be an asset that we can keep moving on when this pandemic someday is over. Maybe that can be something we're able to keep offering to our young people, if that's a more comfortable way for them to get mental health services. That's great to hear. So I think you've talked quite a bit about some recreational activities that your team provides for the residents of our youth programs. And you certainly talked about how important it is, just even those fun field trips and outings for our young people to get the same experiences that their peers get to have. Is there anything else you want to share about kind of the recreational aspect of youth supportive services?
So again, Devin Redmond is our residential services and training coordinator. So Devin puts all of these activities together for the young people. So we want to make sure that they have like recreational experiences, but we also want to make sure that they have like educational experiences outside of school, like that address their life skills. So he does an awesome job of putting together a monthly calendar for the youth programs, and making sure that young people have fun things to do. So and you think about like access and safety and things that are important for young people to be able to do, to be able to, go to a skating rink, or go to the trampoline park, or go to Great America, or go see like the Avengers movie, whatever. I don't know about the Avengers and all that, but this is the stuff that they like we make sure that we are able to help them with that and make sure that they get to have those same experiences that any other young person would have. So our goal is to make sure that the young people that we serve are not left out of the experiences that they deserve to have as young people. So before the pandemic, we would go to the Taste of Chicago. Y'all can go to the Taste of Chicago too. We'll make sure you get there. Make sure you get to eat and enjoy it. And, they go bowling. So in addition to making sure that they have like those educational groups and like life skill support, we also want to make sure that they are able to have fun and be young people like everybody deserves. And being homeless does not mean that you don't deserve to be a normal teenager or a normal young adult. So, it's really important to us that they get those experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. The making memories and just having fun. That's so great. Making that happen. So can you talk a little bit about what recreation looks like during COVID-19? How are you keeping the young people entertained now?
Okay. So we had to completely rework our whole system. So we have gone into working to provide young people with recreational opportunities virtually. So the night ministry has been gracious enough to make sure that every program had laptops, had everything that they needed to be able to carry out virtual activities. So we've been doing virtual activities. So we have people on our youth supportive services team that do paint and sips, but not with alcohol, of course, but paint and sips, coloring, video gaming. They do puzzles. They do. They watch Netflix documentaries and have a discussion afterwards. They've done house meetings virtually, and just a myriad of things. We've tried to keep that activity piece going and just kind of work it into, a virtual situation. So we're still doing activities. We're still making sure that they have recreational opportunities, and we're just doing it virtually.
And that's more getting to share experiences like everyone else, right? We're all hanging out that way, and we're getting to have plenty of virtual fun as much as we can, just like everyone else. That's great. So what kind of help does the night ministry offer to young people who have transitioned out of our program?
So we have a housing stabilization specialist. Her name is Bridget Thomas, and she's awesome. And she does what we call aftercare and or continuing care. So until the age of 27, people who have been in youth programs are eligible for continuing care or aftercare services. So basically, Bridget is a case manager for the young people that are no longer in the program. So the same services that they're able to get in the program outside of actually sleeping in a program, they get those same services in aftercare through Bridget. And if they are in a homeless situation again and cannot come back into one of our residential programs for whatever reason, like they've aged out or something like that, she helps them find housing too. So basically, she makes sure that folks who have left our programs still have support. They're still folded into our system of care, and how we love on them and how we want to see them successful, and how we want to make sure that they have everything that they need. So basically, the things that they could get if they were in residential, they can get through her, as well as like mail service, because a lot of young people don't have a place to have their mail sent to, even, so like she collects mail for young people, and they come and get their mail. And we have food pantry that we offer, so they can come to Bridget, and if they need food, they're able to get food from our food pantry. So she just does a lot to serve the young people that have left the program. And I also want to mention that Bridget works with minor youth that come into our programs. So our programs serve young people basically 14 to 21 years old, but we've had some young people come into the program that are younger than 14. So if they are a minor, they have a different trajectory in services that are provided to them through us, and they need specialized care. So they have a specialized case manager that works with them, who's also Bridget. Like my team, we wear a lot of hats. So she works with young people that are minors in the program to make sure that they get those specialized services that they need, and still have like that robust experience with us for the time that they're there.
Great. And what does aftercare look like right now during COVID-19? Is anything any different with those clients who have moved on from our programs, or what you're doing with them right now?
So aftercare in COVID-19 is it's a little tricky. But what I can say is the only thing that's really different is home visits, because Bridget would do home visits. So she would go to the homes of young people who have left our programs, make sure that they're safe, make sure that they, have everything that they need. She addresses any concerns. She hasn't been able to do that in the pandemic, but she still, she tracks like our young people. She gets in touch with them every 3 months for a whole year. So, she meets with folks when they leave, and then 3 months later she checks in, 6 months later she checks in, 9 months later she checks in, and a year later she checks in. And she's obligated to track for a year, but if young people still want services after that year until they reach 27, they still get services. So in COVID, it's pretty much the same, just with the absence of the home visits, because she reaches out on Facebook. Like Facebook has been a huge, huge, huge blessing to aftercare, because that's how young people want to communicate. They don't want to call, they don't want to text, but they hit her inbox on Facebook all the time. So what they need, like they're on that page, and then it's like an opportunity for us to make sure that our people are still doing good. Like, are y'all okay? They're on Facebook. We get to see them. We see that they're healthy, that they are like okay. So that's basically like the only thing that's been different about aftercare and COVID is just the suspension of home visits until we're able to do that again.
Yeah, it's really amazing how much it seems like your team is keeping up 99% of everything they would normally be doing. It's still running, so that's really great to hear. And then how about Youth for Truth? How has that been impacted by COVID-19?
So with Youth for Truth, right when we went into our shelter in place order in the city of Chicago, Youth for Truth had 2 meetings left. So out of that like 10-week cohort, they had 2 meetings left. And we needed to figure out how to make sure that they were able to round off their experience in a fair way, in an equitable way, and still be able to, feel a sense of completion. So they did their last 2 groups virtually, and we had to figure out, it was a learning curve, but we had to figure out how to get their stipends to them while social distancing, and because usually they'll just get them when they show up for their meetings. So we had to figure that out, and but we did. And Candace was a huge advocate in making sure that they had the same experience that they would have had if we were not sheltering in place. So now we are able to kind of still move on with Youth for Truth, but we've had to make like adjustments. So like we have smaller cohorts now, and so that they can meet while social distancing, like in some of our bigger boardrooms in the agencies, some of our bigger rooms in the programs. And they'll also be, I think, doing like half of their meetings outside so they can do proper social distancing with smaller groups now. So we wanted to make sure that we did not lose that momentum, that we, kept the party going. So Youth for Truth is still in effect. It's just, it looks a little bit different, but we're moving forward. We're making it work.
Great. Cool. So we're kind of heading towards wrapping up right now. So if anyone out there has any questions, please make sure you comment those on Facebook as soon as you can, so we have time to get around to those. And in the meantime, Nieal, can you share any stories about how your team's work has made an impact on the lives of the young people who are living with us?
Yes. So I have to refer to my notes on this because I don't want to get anything wrong, because the young people that we work with do such a phenomenal job. I want to make sure I get it right. So one Youth for Truth member spoke on a virtual congressional briefing addressing family homelessness in the wake of COVID-19. So this was in conjunction with the National Network for Youth, and young people from across the country were able to come together and have like an audience with Congress to talk about their issues. And our young person one of our young people from Youth for Truth, a young mom, she was able to do that. So like, when I say like, we are doing like macro level work, we're doing macro level work. Like we are talking to Congress, we're talking to Senate, we're doing it. We're making sure that young people get their voice. So that was awesome. And then we have another young person that through Youth for Truth has become a leader with One North Side. And that young person is also doing like macro level work to advocate for housing stabilization and mental health. So, you know, these are all things that have, you know, happened during COVID and developed during COVID. We're not going to let this virus stop the voices of young people. So we are moving forward. We're still doing good things. And we're grateful to have the opportunity.
That is so great. Those are really powerful examples of just our young people going so far after they've, you know, been living with us and showing how much potential their lives have and what they can do, which is so great. So you mentioned, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I just wanted to kind of shout out like my team, because there are things that we do that like haven't been covered, and I just want everybody to know what we do. So
yeah.
Is that okay, Bethany?
Go for it. Anything you want to share.
So Candace Music, in addition to overseeing our Youth for Truth program, she also does individualized goal setting with young people. So young people who may not be in Youth for Truth, but still, you know, are interested in getting support outside of the wonderful support they get from case management and program specialists. They have opportunities to work with Candace on like specific things that they want to do. Like one young woman like wanted to really work with disabled people, and Candace made that happen. One person was really interested in like graphic design, and Candace made that happen. So the things that are kind of looked at as sometimes like the extra or the supplemental, like she's able to work with young people on their passion projects. So I think that's like really, really awesome. And Devin, who is our residential services and training coordinator, in addition to working with making sure that young people have recreational activities and educational groups, he also makes sure that we have training for folks. I mentioned that a little earlier coming into the program. So motivational interviewing, restorative justice, trauma-informed care, positive youth development, engagement. Like he makes sure that people coming into the night ministry know what we are about. And he also coordinates our volunteers for youth programs, as well as our interns for youth programs. So he wears many, many hats. He does a lot, and he's phenomenal. And I wanted to, again, just talk about Sharnika Williams and how awesome she is to handle the weekends for the programs, because consistency, like studies have shown that consistency is important for young people, and to make sure that the weekends look like the weekdays is important. She makes sure that happens, and she's awesome for that. And then we have our program support specialist, Fuchsia, has to talk about, and she offers administrative and case aid support across programs. So anything that, you know, a program may need, as far as a special project, tracking, anything that is just like supplemental that they may need extra support in, Fuchsia is able to step in and do that. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody got their shine, and that you know, we know like fully what supportive services does.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much for giving us a little window into your entire team and that whole breadth of everything that's included under what you do. It's really broad and detailed and a lot going on. That's so powerful. So we have one question from the audience right now. Anna asked, how can the community be supportive of your program?
So we love money, so feel free to donate. But it's more than that. It's about experiences too. So we're always looking for new initiatives and new partnerships. So if there are people out there who are passionate about investing in the lives of young people, we are always looking to partner and looking to recruit volunteers to come into the programs. Some volunteers come in and they have like specialized things that they like to do, like yoga. Like some volunteers come in and they'll do yoga. Some volunteers groups come in and they do like cooking groups. We work with Chicago Cares. They come in and they do cooking groups and they do like job readiness and stuff like that. And then some volunteers come in. We have a wonderful volunteer, quite a few wonderful volunteers that have been with us for a long time. Jan, she comes in and she just kind of helps, she hangs out with the young people. And Henrietta, she comes and cooks. So like, if you want to volunteer your time, you don't have to have a special skill. You just have to have a heart for young people and seeing them have positive outcomes in their life. So how can the community support our programs? You can donate, you can volunteer, and that's how you can support.
Great. So you mentioned a few partnerships. You mentioned we have that powerful partnership with Rush, as well as a partnership with One Northside. Are there any other partnerships you want to shout out?
Oh yes. Broadway Youth Center does wonderful work with our youth outreach team. Oh, you put me on the spot. This is like when you win a Oscar and then you forget to thank mama. Rush, Broadway Youth Center, One Northside, University of Chicago, Chicago Cares, Alternatives Inc. They work with us around restorative justice practices. Our CCBYS agencies that we work closely with regarding like our minors. So one of those agencies is actually Alternatives, but we work closely with Youth Outreach Services. We work closely with Universal Family Connections. And I know I'm forgetting a lot, but charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my heart.
That is all right. One more question, also from Anna. Do the young people at the night ministry take advantage of mentorship programs?
When they're offered, they do. Throughout my time at the night ministry, we've had mentorship programs come in, and you know, they've done great. I think, I mean, to be truly honest, the about mentorship programs, young people need to be able to feel a connection with a mentor and have to have something in common. So what I can honestly say is that we serve a lot of Black and brown young people, and not I don't want it to seem like anybody else is not welcome, because I mean, once you build a rapport, you build a rapport. But we, you know, that connection is important, and we want to make sure that young people feel a sense of connection to a mentor. So yes, we do take advantage of mentorship programs, and we are always looking for mentorship programs. But with young people, it usually ends up being about fit. I mean, how many of us have, you know, gone from therapist to therapist, just trying to find the right fit? So it really is a situation where it has to be like that perfect fit. And, you know, if they're not comfortable, and if they're not feeling the connection, then, you know, as good as the intentions may be, you know, it may not be as fruitful as anyone hopes.
Great.
But yes, to answer your question, we do take advantage of programs, and we love mentorship programs, and we're trying to create one. We've got a couple in the pipeline right now. So yes, anybody who loves, and like I said, has a passion for investing in the lives of young people is welcome.
Great. Yeah. And thank you for being honest about the limitations too. And being able to say, you know, sometimes if you're not the right fit, it's not going to be helpful. And we have to put the outcomes for our young people first. So it's great to know that your team is able to be very intentional and discerning about that too. So we're about ready to wrap up, but is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we go?
Yeah, we're proud of what we do, not just in youth supportive services, but all of our housing programs. I know that you heard from Marco last week about youth outreach, but, you know, our Phoenix Hall program that works with, you know, young people that are in high school, and our RAP program that works with pregnant and parents and young people, our interim program, which, you know, welcomes everybody that has a need, our transitional living program that works, you know, with young people that are, you know, moving closer towards self-sufficiency. And, you know, the crib that is just like that catcher in the rye. Like we're catching everybody who may fall through the cracks. Like we're standing there on that precipice, and we are catching these young people, and we love the work that we do, and we are grateful to be able to do it. And I just want to shout out all the youth programs and the night ministry as well. So like we're here, and we're grateful. So thank you.
Great. Well, thank you, Nieal. It's been so wonderful to have your time, your wisdom, and your years of experience to share all of this with all of us. For next week, we'll have our fourth and final session of this series. It will be about our outreach health ministry, specifically about the health outreach bus. And that will be next Tuesday, August 4th at 3 p.m. So I hope to see all of you there. get to meet one of our nurse practitioners, Chandra, who is a wonderful health provider for the night ministry. So we're very excited for that conversation next Tuesday. And just once again, thank you so much, Nieal, the manager of our Youth Supportive Services, for being here today and sharing so much with us. And I hope you all have a great day. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you guys for listening. I talk a lot.